The first time was when Indira Gandhi, Prime Minister, died. And the second time was when Lucille Ball died. Now, Mumji loved Lucy. She seriously loved Lucy. When I was little, she would babysit me and interpret every episode. Vijay பாரு லூசி சொல்றது ஏன்னா ஆடுறாத ஏன்னா பாடுறாத நான் கூட இந்த ஷோ இருக்கலாம் ரிக்கி சொல்றது லூசி நீ ஆடுறாத நீ பாடக்கூடாது நீ வீட்டுல இருந்துட்டு சோறு பண்ணணும் ஏன் ரிக்கி ஏன்னா ஆடக்கூடாது ஏன்னா பாடக்கூடாது பாரு எவ்வளவு பெரிய கண்ணு. Mumji didn't speak a word of English, but she understood Lucy's big eyes, her fights with Ricky, and all the trouble she got into with Ethel. And it seemed like America was filled with these fantastic people who could laugh, cry, scream, shout, say, and do anything they wanted to do. So different from India, where at the time there were only 2 channels, both news. TV was America. And since I was the only grandchild born in America, my grandma Mumji decided that I was going to be on TV. Now, I was about 10 when I told my dad the plan, and he was not thrilled. With me becoming an actress. Act? You want to act? I will tell you how to act. You act like Albert Einstein and do your math homework. Good girl. See, to my dad, only math and science were really important. Everything else was stupid, stupid. But everything else was what I was good at. But even though he couldn't see it yet, I knew that I was destined for something greater than the science fair, and I made it my mission to become a star. I tried out for every play and musical at my all-white elementary school. I got my first break in the 4th grade. I was cast as Martin Luther King. Perhaps I got the role because I was the closest thing that Mrs. Stein had to a black man in the class. But I was the lead. I didn't get to say much, though. We just recreated the assassination scene. I have a dream. In the 5th grade, we did this musical on oral hygiene, and I wanted to be the tooth fairy, but Jenny Loeb got the part. I mean, she had this wispy blonde hair like an angel, and I guess looked a lot more like a tooth fairy than I did. I got the role of tooth decay. Now, I know I wasn't human, but I saw it as a step up because I didn't get killed immediately. And I got to sing a solo. I like to eat the sugar on your teeth. When you don't brush them, you give me lots to eat. My dad would see me on stage, realize that I was the next Shirley Temple, and send me and Mumji off to Hollywood. I prepared this devilish makeup, kind of like Gene Simmons from Kiss. But on opening day, Mrs. Goldberg made a change. Vijay, honey, I really like what you're doing with the song. You're taking a lot of risks, making a lot of good choices. But instead of the makeup, I want you to wear this black mask so you look more menacing, more like tooth decay. It wasn't a black mask, it was a black burlap sack that she pulled over my head, tied around my neck with a piece of white rope. I looked like I was about to get lynched, especially because I was surrounded by tiny dancing white molars. Now, I wanted to protest because I couldn't see out of this mask, and if I couldn't see, then certainly my father wouldn't know it was me up there. But I was professional, and I was going to be the best tooth decay they had ever seen. And I was, until the dance finale. The unfortunate combination of being blind and wearing clogs sent me spiraling down the edge of the stage, wiping out 2 rows of 1st graders before a particularly robust lad ended the domino effect. Amid the screams, I heard a voice say, "Hey, that's my daughter!" Finally, I make it to 6th grade, and this is my last chance to prove to my father that I am meant to be a thespian, because once I hit junior high, he's got my whole life planned out for me. Let's see, if you take AP Biochem and 7th grade, you can be pre-med by the time you're 14. I could not let that happen. So I put all my energy into auditioning for the 6th grade production of Julius Caesar. I wanted to be, yes, Julius Caesar. I wanted to be Calpurnia, Caesar's tragic, tragic wife. I practiced like crazy every day for 2 weeks. Mumji was my acting coach. She didn't understand a word I was saying, but she appreciated all my expressions and was a big fan of pointing for effect and big eyes. After a stirring audition, I was sure that I had the part locked up. I ran to school the next day to check the cast list posted on Mrs. Rabinowitz's door. Brutus, Caesar, Calpurnia. Jill Green got the part. I got nothing. I was nothing. I couldn't go home and tell my grandma, Mumji, she'd be so sad. Maybe this was stupid. Maybe I was stupid for ever wanting this. But in my heart, I knew, and I had to prove it just to myself. Mrs. Rabinowitz, maybe I'm not right for Calpurnia, but I can play Caesar. I'm great at dying. Did you see my Martin Luther King? I'm sorry, Vijay, but all of the leads have been taken by the good actors. Everyone had a part except for me and the 4 slow readers in the class. But there was one speaking role left that she was casting by lottery because it was just one line. I held my breath as she drew a torn piece of paper out of a hat and said, "The soothsayer will be Vijay." The hand of God had come down and picked my name. I was the soothsayer, and my single and only pivotal line was, "Caesar, beware the Ides of March." Opening day, I was a wreck. My father was in the front row with my mom and my grandma. My father had bought a book on computer programming with him because he always brought books to things that he knew would be boring. On my cue, I hobbled out, parting the citizens of Rome. "Caesar, beware the Ides of March." I turned to go, but something held me there, so I turned back. "Seriously, Caesar, beware the Ides of March." I didn't know if my dad was reading or watching, but I knew that my grandma Mumji would love the big eyes. Thank you.